Whenua. E kaimahi au ki te iho te Manuatake o te whare wānanga o Waikato. I'm current staff at the university, I work in the library, and I'm here tonight as this year's returning officer. It's a pleasure to be hosting the VP candidates debate this evening. This is being recorded, so you two, hopefully you say everything that you want to be enshrined in history for the rest of ever. Tonight won't be too long, but we do want to get a really good insight to the two Vice President candidates that are here tonight and what their thoughts are. So shortly I'll be handing over for each of you to do a bit of an introduction, and then we'll have a few questions back and forth. We will try and stick to about a 2-minute per question answer time frame, and I am the judge. So if I don't think you've answered it well enough, I will be asking again. Basically, I'm saying fear me, which I don't know if people really ever will, but I can try. Some of the topics we'll cover tonight are clubs, support and advocacy, events and experience, and then I've got a quick fire round, which is a bit of fun, and then a bit of a wrap up around their leadership style. So we will crack into it. Are you going to paper, scissors, rock? Who's going to go first? Oh, gentleman, he's offering. Oh, now he's taken it. All right. Your first candidate tonight, Seamus.
Kia ora everyone, glad you could find a seat with all the people that are here. It's cool to be here and cool to be doing this whole election thing again. I was just reflecting with Dave about how much more of an enjoyable experience it's already been compared to last year with the higher levels of anxiety that I had, along with people like Ben and Fuad. So really awesome to do events like this. I'm Seamus Laurie. I'm a law student and public relations student and am loving my studies. I'm loving the University of Waikato and loving the WSU, which is why I want to come back to the board again, this time in an increased capacity of leadership and responsibility. So I'm currently a general director, although I'm telling basically everybody here knows that, but I'm a general director and I want more responsibility to implement the initiatives and ideas that not just I have, but the people around me have at a more efficient and sufficient level, which I'm sure we'll touch on throughout this. So yeah, that's me. Thank you.
Oh my gosh, not me about to break the second microphone. Kia ora, haurorugeta, Nemblomi Rosalie. Oh my gosh, I was about to say my age. Not that that matters, but I'm not gonna. Anyways, kia ora, my name is Rosalie. I am a second year student here at the University of Waikato. I'm studying, what am I studying? Bachelor of Arts in Māori and Indigenous Studies and Social Policy, and as well minoring in Pacific and Indigenous Studies and Music. I'm really excited to be here. I feel like my experience with WSU so far has been a little different. I was the Pacific director this year, but only jumped on halfway through the year. So it's been really interesting to do all this campaigning stuff and honestly frightening to see all my face around the campus, but that's A-okay. No one's graffitied it yet, so that's fine. I'm super excited to be here. And I guess, we'll talk more about my purpose anyway. But kia ora, thank you for having me.
Ka pai. Thank you both very much for that lovely introduction. Sitting here reflecting on my own experience sitting in that seat. And I know what you're doing is tough, but you are doing it well, so well done. So we're going to start with clubs. I've got a few questions here, starting with whether you are part of a club or oropu on campus. That's a pretty easy question to answer, and I think both of you have touched on it a little bit. So we'll roll that into the second part, which is how important do you think clubs are to the university experience? And we will start with you, Rosalie.
Sorry to the auto listeners online, apologies. So I am currently part of the Vanuatu Students Association Club. It's been really cool. I'll just talk oh yeah, we have 2 minutes. I'll talk really briefly about the club, but it's been really exciting, I think, as well, linking into the actual second question, to see our Vanuatu Students Association Club restart after many, many years of us not having a number of students, or not having as much support to have that club. But I think the main purpose of that club and clubs in general, to be able to create a space of community, are a space to be able to be surrounded by like-minded people. And yeah, for a lot of us, I know for myself, I was nervous when starting to study here, but as soon as we were able to have our club set up, it was instantly like I had a space to belong. And yeah, so I think it's just a space of belonging, a space of community, and yeah, they're very highly important to the student experience, and as well deepening the connections that we have here at the university.
Thanks, Rosalie. Yes, I am proudly a part of the Management Communication Student Association. Shout out to Ethan and Ben, who are also part of that club. I also have affiliations with YCATH and WALSA and whatnot, casual law student chat kind of thing. I think clubs are absolutely vital to the student experience. When I came to the University of Waikato, I came from Canterbury, Christchurch, which is not a place where a lot of people from the South Island go. They don't go to the University of Waikato, so I knew absolutely nobody and nothing here, and I remember how upset I was in my first week at the university in my hall room. And it was actually clubs that enabled me to meet people, like-minded people like Ben Woodgate's in the back there, shout out, and make some good lifelong connections and also improve my study. I think clubs are basically the backbone of the student experience. Everybody here is affiliated to a club in some way, and people often meet their lifelong friends through clubs, so I think it's really important that we support them and probably give them more support than we do at the moment.
Nice segue, Seamus. It's almost like you've read this, and I'm sure you wouldn't have. But yes, I completely agree with you, and I know that the WSU do a lot to support clubs, including grants, spending actual real-life money to support the clubs. So last year, the Waikato Students' Union spent $60,000 on club grants. I would like to know from the candidates, was that too much, not enough, or about right?
It's an interesting one. I think an important thing to compare that to would also be during COVID to see the level of increase. I think if the increase wasn't too heavy from the COVID years, then I'd argue that it was too little. Obviously, funding's on a case-by-case basis, so it's clubs applying for grants, so it's a hard question to answer, but I would say personally we should give as much money as we can to clubs. So I guess I'm insinuating too little. I know that I've also been through the application process, and it's pretty stress-free at the moment. I know some people have had difficulties, but my own experience was I had a genuine kaupapa that I wanted to be supported, and they supported it. And they gave me all the money I needed and wanted. So I think while it's probably a bit too little in the spending department, what should be promoted is the pathway that clubs can take so the spending can become more, obviously because it's by a case-by-case basis. Thank you.
Yeah, I feel like I was going to say the same, like similarly, but yeah, I feel like definitely, too little, or definitely, I think like especially with, at the moment I know for a lot of our Pacific clubs especially, I also forgot to mention that I'm also part of the like Melanesian Students Collective Association as well, and one of the common issues that we've been finding is as well just being able to have the accessibility, I think, of understanding how to fill out club forms and stuff, because for a lot of us it's a new process and a new thing to understand, so I think definitely more support there, and I think, the more that we can support our clubs, like we were just saying before, that clubs are a space of community and a space of belonging, I think the more that we the more money that we put to supporting our clubs, the better, I think. Yeah, that's me.
It was certainly an unfair question on my part without the context, but you both handled that very well. I know that each year the board put a lot of work into, the support that the staff give the board, to put together the annual reports and the budget, which is the cycle that the current board are going through at the moment. And club funding is always highly contested, but it is a balance, and yeah, obviously that process is a part of it. So well done, both of you, on handling my very unfair question. We'll move on to support and advocacy, which is obviously a huge part of why the WSU exists. I've got a couple of questions here, and I'm going to start in the same vein around finances. So, ensuring equity of opportunity for hardship grants for students that might be facing financial constraints or needing extra financial support. What policies would you put in place to ensure that equity of opportunity? I'm going to start with Rosalie again.
I'm trying to think of like a specific policy, but I think from even just talking to a lot of my friends who have had to go through that process, I think kind of going back to the clubs and the application process and stuff like that, I'm not quite sure about a policy, but I definitely think being able to support more students, one, to know that that resource is there for them, but as well being able to make the conversations that you have around filling out those forms and going through that process a lot, feel a lot more comfortable and a lot safer. So yeah, I'm not really sure what a policy would be, but I think just being able to know that students have support to go through that, but yeah, also just that there are people there that want to have open conversations with them, so that they feel comfortable. And I know a lot of people can be a bit whakama about filling out those kinds of things, but I think just being able to provide that space of comfort and safety for all students, because it's tough out here, and lots of people are in so many varying different situations and I'm going through different life experiences at the moment, so I think just being able to provide support. That didn't really answer the question, but
Yeah, I agree quite heavily with that. I currently know a few people that didn't actually are facing a few challenges and didn't actually know that these services are out there. So I think a policy would surround, one, making these things that we have in place more accessible and have greater awareness for the people that need them. And that might be targeting specific clubs or services around campus that deal with these people on a higher basis. I also think our student support services are pretty amazing. And we need to make sure as a board that we're not overstepping into the operational side. I think they've done a really cool and great job. So I think as a board we need to just be careful that what we're ensuring is that we're collaborating with the wider university and not telling the operational side how to do their job. So we're making sure that what we're actually doing is tapping into the wider university resources. So my policy would surround that. The clubs and the services that deal with these people on a higher basis, the people that are more likely to need these funds, and then make them aware of these processes and make it more accessible towards them.
Sounds like you both want to come see me in my office. That sounded really dodgy, huh? No, we're not going there. Again, I work in the support services area of the university. Goodness me, it's after hours, everyone. So obviously, as part of the operational side and some of the ways that students can access these funds, there's a whole team of people that work in communications, and part of their job is to communicate the opportunity that the students have to get these hardship grants or club grants as well. How would you reach a bigger audience? There's a lot of tauira, we've got 2 campuses. What can you see are opportunities to do better in that space, and then how would you help support that activity?
Going to steal my answer off my previous one. I think targeting areas that have a high concentration of the people that often need our support services. So for example, and we've started the communications team I don't know why I'm taking credit for that, the communications team has intelligently started targeting halls a lot more this year. I'm sure they did a lot before COVID, but this year they've started targeting halls a lot more because obviously first years, new to the university experience and often need more help. So what I would say is that we should channel our communications and support towards audiences, groups, people that actually need our help rather than just towards the wider university. We should definitely keep that stuff up through our general channels, but we should start to become more targeted and focused and specific towards who we're communicating with. So for example, halls and any other club services like yourself, come see you in your office, for communication around support services.
Man, oh my gosh, every time, oh my gosh, don't find me for this, please. Yeah, definitely, I think definitely on the point that you've raised around being able to approach some of the groups that we're already knowing aren't engaging as much, but I think for me it's the point around how we approach different groups of people, and I guess not making it come across, or not making it in any way a way of targeting. Is that a word? Targeting. What's the plural of that? I don't know. Targetization. Let's make it a word, guys. But I think the ways that we communicate with students authentically. I do know. I love everything that WSU does. But I definitely think for myself when I was. I can tend to be quite an introverted person, especially when I started at this university. And for me, I know that I probably wouldn't have engaged with a lot of the stuff just because I think for me it felt, like it wasn't a space that I could get involved in, and that I guess some of the things were for people that were more extroverted. That was just the way that I viewed it when I started at the university. So I think being able to less target groups, but to collaborate with groups and creating that space of authenticity and being able to have authentic conversations that feel like they actually are a part of the process and a part of the university community. I don't know what that was.
We've got some high tech going on here, huh? Apologies for that. It's not mine to apologise for either. It's really interesting, actually. A long time ago, I sat here saying similar things, and now working for the university, it's the same. Like, how do we shift that dial? We're talking about the same issues that we've been talking about coming up 10 years. I'm that old. How can we better improve the relationships? How can we do better? What are some of the levers that the university and the student union should be pulling to increase that kind of authentic communication, as you spoke about, Rosalie, or, bring the communities together, make these opportunities equitable? What can we do?
And you're talking about with students.
That partnership,
Yep.
that relationship.
And I understand that this is an ongoing conversation with every single comms department, with every single student union, every single university. So it's obviously a big challenge, but I think some of the answers are often the most simple ones. The best answers are often the most simple ones. And once again, stealing answers off my previous ones, I think if we start to intentionally target specific communications towards audiences, then we often communicate with those audiences better. I think as a Pākehā man trying to communicate and understand a space within Te Ao Māori, it's not the most applicable forum for me to be entering. So I think as a communications team, perhaps that we can start employing people that relate to these people that we're trying to communicate with, then we could have a better engagement with these groups. I think another thing for building relationships is just leveraging on the services and events that we already have. I think it's quite a kind of common talk around the office that everybody uses the WSU services in some way, buses to town and O Week or student support services, but sometimes people don't make that connection with the student union and the events and services we provide. So I think if we better leverage our events and the platform that we get from them to relate it back to the rest of our kaupapa, then we can have those strong, trustworthy, mutually beneficial relationships that we can leverage for the rest of the year after events like O Week.
Hello? Okay. Yes, I think 100% being able to utilize again, like we were saying previously about raising awareness of the services and groups and people that already work here. But I think in one note, I think is as well highlighting them a lot more, I think especially like on our social media. and on campus. I think being able to provide that online presence, which also helps us a lot with connecting with our wider community. Like I know a lot of the time, I'm talking a lot about the Pacific space, but I think definitely with like Kia Te Pacifica and stuff like that, being able to build deeper and richer connections with outside of university community groups, I think is really beneficial. And I think as well, I was going to ask if I could swear. I was just going to say, I think, okay, it's not even going to be bad, but I think, you know me, but I think just being able to call out shit for how it is, if things haven't been changing, I think now, especially in the climate that we are in Aotearoa especially, now is 100% the time for change, and I think we 100% need people on our board who are going to call out things that are issues, call out things that are highlights and the things to be celebrated on our campus, but 100% the things that are not working well, finding out why they don't work well, and being able to shift that into something positive that actually creates change for our students. Because 100% now is 100% the time to make those changes. Yeah.
You do a very good job at ferrying this back and forth, Seamus. Thank you. Both of you talked a lot about events, which is a beautiful segue into the next section of questions. So the events and experience team work really hard to put on a host of different events, as well as support clubs through their events. But there was a time, and I think it's still relevant, where WSU stood for Waikato Sausage Union. So apart from weekly sausages, what would you do, or what would you want the WSU to do on that weekly basis?
On a weekly basis, so something that's more achievable, I fought for about a year and a half, maybe even 2 years, for this thing that I'm sure you guys are sick to death of hearing about, peer support, where it was basically a one-on-one conversation with the students about anything that you wanted to have a yap about. And we got a few over the line this year, absolutely fantastic, and appreciate everybody that helped out, and then it starts to fade off for various reasons. So a huge thing for me is mental health. I believe that there's not a lot of targeted mental health support services for students specifically. We have an awesome health team that work here, but they're inundated with patients, so it's really hard to get in. So I think more accessible, cheaper, lower threshold mental health support would be something I'd want to set up every week. Specifically, what I think this would look like would be having a thing called a director drop-in hour, but with peer support specifically. So you're aware that there is a time when an office is open and a director will be in it, so you can drop in and have a yarn about anything that's bothering you, any issues you may have, and you can have a chat with a director one-on-one. I'd honestly love for this to be more than weekly and every day, but we'll put one foot in front of the other to begin with. So it worked this year so far, and I'd absolutely love for it to be implemented into the operational calendar on a weekly basis.
Actually, I did not know that about the. That threw me off guard. I was like, "Damn, guys." Hey, it's okay. 100%. I mean, money, but like, if we were able to offer more free lunches, and I know the team is doing a really amazing job now, but I think it's been really cool, like even within O Week and stuff like that, being able to see how many students that come and engage with WSU, but as well getting to have free kai every day, every week, I think is hugely beneficial, and I think it's something that is actually really working in the Tauranga campus at the moment, having a lot more services to have breakfast and things like that there. What was my other point? Oh my gosh, my blank. What was my other point? Another point. There we go. Okay, sorry. Looped back. I think definitely even if we were able to have a weekly study session or study group that was a bit more universal, and as well, I think being able to have spaces, having the space for people to study, I think in a safer community, I think is super beneficial, because I know for myself, I mean, when you don't have like too many friends that are in like your kind of study area, if we were able to create that space where like even staff or tutors and things like that from different study areas could come together to those study groups and be able to support students better in their study areas, I think could be super beneficial. And there was another point, but I have forgotten that. So we're just going to hand over the mic.
You might get to your other point next. I don't know. I don't know what your point was, so. So obviously, Kai is a really important part of student life, but the Kai on campus is often quite unaffordable. I say that even as staff. I hate paying $8 for a coffee. I think it's robbery. So what other food, what would you bring to campus? What are the other options that you think could work really well on campus?
If you took the recent survey, if you're one of the 800 people, you know there are a few questions about ways that we could fight that issue, because look, I love butter chicken and chips. It's a fantastic meal, but $4 is basically extortion. And I think we should really take this to court or something. So I think the next best thing we could do is follow what the students have said they want in the survey, and that's affordable student food that's set up by the student union. Some sort of cafe or something system in the Don. We've already begun to look into this with cheap meals every Wednesday. I bought 2 burgers last week and they were delicious. And I think if we can continue to provide cheap food through a student union run cafe, bar of some sort, which I understand the student union once owned and operated, but throughout the university day would be an absolutely fantastic way to ensure that students can eat for cheap or maybe even free.
Sure. I don't know why every time I pick up the mic I want to say sure, so apologies if you hear that. I completely agree with what you've said, Seamus. I think even one point is, we definitely need to change the pricing that we have here. The food is amazing, but it's not very affordable. And I definitely think it could be quite cool in terms of like building and deepening our connection to a wider community as well. Even having wider support for family businesses. I don't know what I was going to say. Like having family businesses and food trucks and things like that I think being able to, deepen our connections, but I think as well being able to support the local communities that we have here, and being able to provide more affordable food while also supporting our community at the same time. I was just going to say, 100% love that idea of the having a student-run cafe, because having our students at the forefront of everything that we do is so important, and being able to help students upskill as well while they're on campus would be amazing.
Sure. Sign me up. I don't know. Are staff allowed to go to your student-run cafe? Can I go to a food truck? I hate the options. As a completely selfish point of view, sign me up. O-Week. It's actually part of my job, so I personally want to hear the answer to this. But also, I'm sure there are 2 eager ears over there that may also have some interest. How would you improve it? I mean, there's kind of 4 O-Weeks. You've got the university week, then you get the O-Week in A trimester, and then you get that all again in B. So there's 4 weeks you could talk about. What would an improved kind of program for any of those look like, Rosalie?
Resisting the urge to say chair. I definitely think I've loved being able to engage in like the campus O-Week activities. I think definitely being able to raise more, awareness. I keep saying awareness, but I think being able to raise awareness on the activities and things that we do have going on here. I think there is quite a large focus on like I mean, it is like, I love going to town, guys, for real, but I think pulling more of the focus onto engaging in student activities here, and I think not taking it away from the town aspects of O Week and all that kind of stuff, but I think being able to create that closer community and friendships here on campus. Yeah, love more prizes. I know the students will love that. But yeah, I think just being able to have, like we have fun activities and stuff like that. But aside from our clubs day, I feel like there isn't too many other opportunities for people to kind of find out where they can kind of belong within the university as a student. So I think maybe being able to put more of an emphasis in the clubs, the groups that you were able to join throughout multiple days. And I think as well, being able to share a bit more about things like what WSU actually is. Like, I don't know how long I've been speaking for now, but I think even when I started at WSU, I still wasn't really sure what they did until I actually joined. And I think, being able to raise awareness of the services that we provide and the way that we support students so that they are more engaged as soon as they start university.
O Week's great. I would agree that there's a large focus on drinking, but I also think that's what students have a large focus on. So I'm sure as long as we're promoting that safely, which I think we do by offering rides to town, and by not giving away alcohol, I think we're actually doing a good job of being realistic about it. How we could enhance it? I think there's a few things. The first thing that I really acknowledge is that the O Week compared to the Rio Week this year, I think was the great trajectory that we need to continue to follow. I mean, using the PAR and having events throughout the day that people can just drop in and attend, like the gaming things they had on the PAR screen where I got whooped at FIFA 5-1 in front of a crowded PAR, Clubs Day in the PAR, movie nights, things like that are fantastic ways to improve O Week. So in that sense, we need to very much keep going. The next sense would be we need to really leverage O Week now so people can become aware of the services that the student union run, so that they're not just involving with the student union every Wednesday with the Waikato Sausage Union or with O Week and that's it, the one-off. I think we need to make sure that directors, especially on people on the board, are out there interacting with students, telling people about what the WSU offers, and that we're really leveraging that platform where basically every student is involved in to refer them to what we can help them with to go forward. And I think that would actually make the whole O Week experience better, just because people would see WSU more, they'd get more support throughout the week rather than just at night. So I think it's kind of a tandem thing. It's mutually beneficial.
Cool. Okay, well, I'll take some notes, and when I get into planning, I will make sure to come basically tell James that he needs to be more active during the day. I'm going to ask one more question in this style, and then we're going to take a little break, and then we're going to come back for a quick fire round where, because of the microphone, I just want to rearrange the stage a little bit, and then we'll wrap up. So last question, we'll have a little break, and then we'll get back into it shortly. Just to wrap this section up, the biggest thing that I would like to hear from each of you is how all of that relates to our tauranga tauira. So how are we supporting them through awareness, being more active, providing them with other food alternatives? What is it that the WSU are doing in tauranga that translates to all of your wonderful plans here?
I think the University of Waikato is in a very awesome opportunity by having two campuses. And the Tauranga students, in many regards, get sold short, not necessarily by the student union, but by all the things that they have there because they're so far away, which is actually why it's been really awesome to see Tauranga students run, not just for the Tauranga director this year, but for multiple roles. And I think if we can continue to encourage them in that way, to make them feel like they can be involved, then they can only be their experience can only be enhanced. We have the key and the platform to do that as the student union. We're the ones on the ground there helping them out. They currently have 2 staff and 1 director. I think it would be incredibly beneficial for there to be regular trips by the board the president, the VP situated here over to Tauranga on a regular basis. I know the student union definitely has the money for that, so shout out Dave for driving in advance, appreciate that. But I think that's the way we do it, just be present, because that's the best way to lead. Let people know that you're there among them, supporting them, rather than just being hearing words and voices from all the way in Hamilton.
Thank you. Said an alternative word to chair. Thank you. My main point was, definitely around presence, being able to show up more, and not just, I think it's been really cool just in my experience on being on WSU so far has been around getting to go to events and things like that. But I think, being able to have more of our board meetings in Tauranga, and as well, just being able to show up there even on a weekly basis. Some of us just being able to support them, especially in a lot of areas that they're having issues with at the moment, like with parking and things like that. Since they have such limited staff and people there that are advocating for them, if we were able to be there and have more numbers to advocate and support them, I think would be super beneficial. So I think the presence, being able to be there more often to support them and show our support. I think definitely being able to bring all of those fun activities and finding alternative ways to make those activities work for them and their community and for their campus. That's all I have to say.
Awesome. More presents, more activities, cheaper food. Sounds like key messages from this half of our kōrero this evening. And we're just going to take a quick break. Feel free to give these two candidates a quick round of applause, and we'll just rearrange. We'll just rearrange the stage so I can get into the more exciting part of the night. Just waiting for my drink, but I'm sure that'll arrive partway through my next set of questions. You will see that my candidate panel has changed in the break. We have an additional Vice President candidate joining us from the audience. She is, she's a nominated candidate. She's not just a random from the audience. Apologies, she couldn't make it to the first half, but we have obviously created an opportunity for her to participate in the second half, which is the more fun stuff anyway. So I will hand to her to introduce herself, and then we'll move into the quick fire questions.
Okay, if you lose your legs, I'm sorry. Kia ora, ayuboan, bonjour, everybody. A bit about myself. I am a third-year law student, and I'm also doing social science, actually. I'm doing a double degree, so I'll be here for a little bit longer. A little bit about myself. I am a Sri Lankan Seychelles wawahine. So Seychelles, if anybody knows, is a little island off the coast of Africa, and that's where I grew up. And I'd like to say that's really shaped me because I'm able to understand a lot of walks of life. I do apologize for not being in the first half, but to be fair, I think I did myself a favor by not being on the stage for the first half. I have to admit, I've been quite nervous because I have some amazing competition this year, and not to say that I'm not confident, I have confidence in myself, but I do have some great competition, and I just think that's going to make me a better VP if I get the role, because I'm going to have to fight up against some people who are really passionate about what they're fighting for. So I guess that just shows everyone's character depending on who wins. And yeah. Cheers.
Thank you, Amma. Now, I'm not just sitting this close to everybody because I like them. There's actually a practical element to this, because quickfire means boom, boom, boom with the microphone. And you might have noticed in the first half there was like a very awkward passing around. So I'm going to control this thing, and I'll basically just be shoving it in your faces. Why do I do this? I don't know. Why am I like this, James? My goodness me. Didn't I start this whole thing by saying, make sure that you say things you're happy with being enshrined in for life because it's been recorded? I suppose everyone who knows me knows me. Okay. I don't have a lot of questions, so this will go quite quickly. But I might add some as I go because I'm in that mood. Best spot on campus?
The Pa.
The place with the stained windows in the par near the kitchen.
The conch, because free food and vibes.
Where the heck are the stained windows in the par?
Near the kitchen at the end. Yeah, so
I think I need to go for a tiki tour around the par. Okay. Favourite food?
fish and chips.
Tropical fruits.
Dumplings.
This is getting really hard for my back.
Just lay across.
I didn't think this through. Oh, here's logic. Yeah, I should have sat in the middle. Sorry, I've got long arms. Last great movie you watched?
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, this is not a good movie, but it's the last movie I watched. It was actually really bad, guys. Anyone but you. Oh my god, it was actually really bad. Anyways, there you go.
Oh, I love that movie.
The last Kingsman's movie.
The greatest movie of all time, Boy.
No one said Titanic? No, we're not. We're too young. Okay. Oh, and she cackles. What is your favourite sport?
Football.
Guys.
Did she just say guys? No, it's not just me.
No. Favorite sport? Beach volley.
Oh, dance.
Yeah, both of you are marginally still guys. Beach volley and dancing.
Guys, my parents are gonna see this.
And Shrine for Life. Are you a night person or a morning person?
Night person for sure.
Night.
Morning.
Ooh. Guys? No. Sorry, I'll stop. If you could have a drink with one famous person, who would it be?
Jacinda Ardern.
Adam Sandler.
Donald Glover. Childish Gambino.
No one said me. Incorrect. Me was the correct answer. Who's your favourite lecturer?
Alexander Gillespie.
Really? Oh my god, I forgot her name. I've only ever had her once. She's a social science teacher, and I've literally gone up to her after lectures because she's amazing.
I've forgotten her last name, but Jessie, she used to be a Pacific Studies teacher. Beautiful person.
I think we need to do better with our branding. You guys can't even remember our names. Good teaching. Where would you be in the world right now if you could just teleport there?
Rangiora.
Okay.
The Seychelles.
Yeah, Vanuatu, where my family's from.
Nice, Rangiora. Cool. Okay, last one. Controversial. Who would you like to be president of the WSU next year?
Mira.
Mira.
The GOAT, Timmy Potter Smith.
Not me. Still the wrong answer. Cool. Those are my quickfire questions. So now you get to sum up yourselves. I'll give you a couple of minutes, 2 to be exact. Dave doesn't have his cowbell, so he can just moo loudly or give me the nod. We'll see if he moves. In 2 minutes or less, you can do less, explain the type of leader you'll be and what's your personal brand. Who are you? Call YO.
Oh my god. I think, as I've said, I say it, it's literally in everything I say, like my bio, my videos, so please don't come for me. I think it's my personal brand. Understanding every walk of life. I am biologically I'm from Asia, but I grew up in Africa, so I've got some culture to me. And then I moved here in 2017. That was a culture shock, but I think it really is so informative on how I make my decisions and understanding everyone. And something I've learned to be really passionate about is the Indigenous community, because I came from 2 countries where there's no more no more colonization. So obviously, there's post-colonial effects, but neither countries I come from are under the crown. And so that was really, really weird to see when I moved here, to realize that the indigenous are the minority and not the majority. So I think that's really going to be informing my decision. So that was 2 minutes? Oh, sorry. Yeah, please, or I'll do it. Another thing that, unfortunately, Seamus beat me to the chase, but mental health. I am so passionate about mental health, and I think the reason I became so passionate is I grew up in an ethnic household where to be sensitive is to be weak, and I've had to grow out of that shell and realize I'm so emotional, but I've learned to love that about myself. As we speak, I'm stuttering, guys, but I've learned to really love about that by myself, because when I tell you, like, this is not exaggerating, I have cried about Indigenous Māori rights to my father because he is an ethnic man, and I have to explain it.
Thank you very much.
That was a good point, though. Who do you want? Okay.
Okay. Oh, thank you, Boo.
I'll interrupt you in a minute, 30. Don't worry.
Okay, thank you for the heads up. No jump scares.
I'll do it then.
Okay, yeah, kia ora. Yeah, my name's Rosalie, if anybody has forgotten. But yeah, what was the question? About who I am. Yeah, other than outside of what I'm studying, I'm currently, little pitch, I'm currently on 6 different boards across the Motu, and I think for myself, starting, as I said in my little video, about starting my journey in governance as a whole when I was 14, I think being able to grow up in a space where you are a young person and you are the youngest, most of the time, the youngest voice in the room, on the table. I think I've learned so much about myself personally, how I lead. Being in governance has helped shape who I am as a person, but as well deepening my confidence, as I shared before, about tending to be quite an introverted person. I think my style of leadership that I've really been learning about, especially as the chair for the Waikato Regional Council's Youth Council at the moment, is being able to, sorry, my little plugs, but I think being able to lead with a sense of kindness, being able to lead with an open mind, being able to support everybody's voices to be heard in the room, and I think as well, leadership for me is being able to
Here's my rude introduction.
Period. Thank you. Thank you very much. I think for me, leadership is being able to be a bridge and to be able to be, what's the other word? A bridge, a funnel, a platform for the people's voices around you to be heard. And that, yes, definitely not at all about being the loudest voice in the room, but about being able to be a person that can support you, period. Slay.
Oh, Dave's mooing. Moo.
Thank you.
Seamus.
Thank you, Dave. Look, I think I'm very different to that answer, where I believe that leadership is actually shown more outside of the boardroom. I don't think leadership can be shown to its best capacities and abilities around the board table. I think the best way to lead, my answer, and the way I lead, is servant leadership. It's leading from among and within. And when I look at the best leaders in my life, that's how they lead. They listen to people, they trust people, they approach it with compassion and empathy, and they get their head stuck down and get into work. And that's the way I lead, and that's the type of leadership I bring to being a vice president. Because there's only a few hours, normally every month, around a board table. I think my leadership should extend beyond that to every single day when I come into the university. My brand, I like to think that I probably speak with a bit of an annoying southern twang, but that's very much who I am. I'm from Christchurch. I came from a humble farmer home in Canterbury, and it's very much informed my appreciation for being up here and pursuing a higher education and these opportunities. So my brand is all about empathy, compassion, humility, understanding, and trust. Thank you.
With time to spare, I didn't even get to interrupt him. Thank you. I think you'll all agree that we've heard some pretty exciting possibilities that might come from the three people we have sitting beside me, and I know there are others in the candidate for this role for Vice President in the race, and I'm sure all of them will have a lot to offer. So really it's up to the voters, and it comes down to the election and when the actual race happens, and then of course that knitting together of the new board. So I will hand it to each of you to do your final closing statement, the one thing that you want everyone to remember you by, or what you want to leave them as they leave here this evening. And then we will close. So I'm going to just go in order. Seamus.
A vote for me is a vote for service.
Oh. Does it have to be that short?
Whatever you want. It's your closing statement.
I just want to say that if you see me around campus, genuinely feel free to come up to me and express to me what is important to you, because I feel like that is what's going to shape me to be an ideal candidate. So yeah, just feel free to say hi, and if I look like I'm mad, I'm not. I promise.
I think I really hope that if I was voted as Vice President, I really hope that I'm an approachable person, a person that you can genuinely be friends with and have good conversations with. But I think as well, I think I just want to highlight, I guess, the experience or the depth of experience that I have that I would love to be able to bring to the board and be able to bring to WSU space. Vote for me, your Pacific Pop Princess. Chehu.
Again, thank you. Thank you, candidates. Thank you, everyone, for coming along tonight and showing your support. Thank you to the WSU for this wonderful venue. Thank you to the staff at the Don for providing us with lovely refreshments and kai tonight. If we could please all have a round of applause, show your appreciation.